Before the 1950s, tobacco companies would have doctors advocate for how healthy their product was, but fast forward to today, you never see any sort of advertisements for tobacco products at all. In fact, there's more regulations on tobacco advertising than there is on any other product in the world today. So, I'm going to inform the class about the history of tobacco advertising throughout the years in a chronological sequence. I personally have taken business classes that have talked about advertising, but I learned more about tobacco advertisement throughout the years from Dayton.edu. I think that there's a lot of different ways that you can advertise, but the way that cigarette companies such as Marlboro did it back in the day was very effective, and I think people could take ideas from this and apply it to other things in today's day and age. So, I'm going to start by talking about how they're advertised from 1800 to 1900, and then talk about how they're advertised from 1900 to 1950, and then finally 1950 to the present day. So, from 1800 to 1900, they didn't know about any of the health effects of cigarettes, so they thought they were actually healthy at one point and really pushed the health benefits, saying that at one point they said that they could cure cancer, which is obviously false, but they pushed that, and then they also would show, strong men and soldiers and cowboys, and these were only print ads at the time. They didn't have radio or TV, so they only focused on men, and they were only in print ads. They were only men focused because at the time it was considered like a prostitute thing to do if you smoked cigarettes as a woman. So there were no women smoking cigarettes, and they didn't push towards women at all. Moving on into 1900 to 1950 era, again, beginning of this time, before World War I and during World War I, they were only focusing on men, and they started to use cards, trading cards such as this. This one depicts Ulysses S. Grant, previous U.S. president, and basically it was kind of an interactive way to interact with the customers and created a boost in their sales. And again, they also did the print ads, and this again before World War I and during. This will show the soldiers, cowboys, and just strong men in general. But then once you got into the 20s, you got the women's liberation movements, and then they started doing ads for women, and they basically just started showing women that were empowered, just happy in general. I learned this from Stanford.edu, and basically it just wanted to depict a woman that was empowered, happy, and good looking. And this is an example. It says 121 brands of fat cigarettes fit men. Virginia Slims are made slimmer to fit you. Again, it's implying that someone's healthy, they're not fat, and it's just a good looking person in general. Moving on towards when you get closer to World War II and during World War II, the cards actually reached their peak at this time, but the world was starting to get introduced into radio, and so radio started being a big thing, and they continued on with the print ads. But so for the radio and print ads, they would have doctors and businessmen talking or depicted in the print ads saying, I recommend these cigarettes are the healthiest, etc., etc. And they didn't have the TV at the time, so this is only print and radio. Moving on to 1950 to 2020, they started getting into more health concerns, so they started pushing healthy cigarettes. And again, this is more like the health thing. So they tried to depict people that were healthy looking, good looking people, and they started doing a lot of TV ads during this time. TV was the big thing. So I'd like to show one of these TV ads.
What could be more refreshing than Newport menthol cigarettes?
So again, it just showed people that are really happy and having a good time, but also at the same time they're good looking and we're in good shape. So that was the big thing that they pushed through these TV ads and the radio. But in 1971, they said no more TV, no more radio, so they couldn't have any more ads at all on these platforms. So then they switched and started doing billboards and sponsoring sporting events to replace not being able to do the TV and radio. So for the sporting events, they would just pay obviously to have their stuff displayed, and then they would sell their products at these sporting events and also on the billboards. And again, these were they had print ads as well, but again, these are just all promoting being healthy and looking good and feeling good in general. But there began to be more and more restrictions on the advertising, and eventually it leads us to the present day, where now they're only allowed to basically display the products, and to do this they'll incentivize displaying the products to retailers by giving them discounts, and then whoever has like the best display and sells most cigarettes or tobacco products gets more discounts. I learned about that from cdc.gov. So today I reviewed about the history of cigarette and tobacco advertising throughout the years in a chronological sequence. First, I started with how they were sold between 1800 and 1900, then between 1900 and 1950, and then 1850 to the present day. There are many different ways to advertise, but I think that you can pull ideas from the way that tobacco companies did it and use them, especially if you're graduating and going into a business field. I think that you could use some of these in your future career. So today, obviously, you don't really see any of these ads, but I hope after seeing or hearing my speech, you were able to learn something about how the progression of these ads have happened throughout the years. Thank you.